The National Security Ministry has convened a high-powered meeting to fashion out a response to Tuesday afternoon's street gang clash at Nima here in Accra, which left at least 3 people with gunshot and machete wounds. It took the timely intervention of the police to restore calm in what they say could have potentially escalated into a full-blown conflict with many casualties, not too far from the president's residences, both official and private. It's been nearly 24 hours since the incident, and many residents are yet to recover from the trauma of what they witnessed. 7 people have so far been arrested and some arms retrieved. We have more on an active police manhunt for the remaining members of the feuding gangs. First, though, Manuel Coranting of our security has visited the community, and here's his report.
Those were the scenes on the streets of Nima, a suburb in Ayawaso East Municipality in Accra. 2 youth gangs from Mamobi and Nima, who have been in a long-standing feud, clashed on Tuesday afternoon. At least 3 people sustained gunshot and machete wounds.
The reason why they always fight is about rivalry. I think it's about self-acclaimed gang, self-acclaimed boss. This one a rule over this, and this guy also want to rule over this. So anytime they clash, there is a small incident. Then you see the 2 clans start to fight. Yeah, I learned it started 3 days ago when the other guy came to change money, and the other guy, his rivalry came and asked him why is he in their territory, and that was the mess.
Some people escaped only by the skin of their teeth.
My shop inside where they sell things before they started. Before I realize I see gun, pim, then I see inside my single. You do see? Yeah, I don't get problem with anyone, but I'm in my shop where I hear pim. Before I see the gun, we are dodge, we are go home. So if came back to here, come back to next top. Then he went out.
So I can count 4 different holes right through the ceiling, and all are, perpendicular like that, all through the space in the roof there.
Yeah. So number 1 is this. 2 is this. Came back from here to here.
Okay, so he's just now showing me, and in fact there are more holes.
For now, almost everyone in the community is living in fear. Many shops are closed and several other vendors are absent. The few vendors who showed up are visibly spooked.
The one who is shooting the gun safe, I did not see his face, but I did hear pa. Before I come out, I see plenty of people, but me, I know if you watch this one, then I run go home. I run and go home. I want my life. It's not the money.
I catch up with this coconut seller who won't speak to me. After several minutes of engaging him off record, he shares how he escaped the chaos.
Obi mi fi mambo obi no so fi Nima ina mo be hie mu to mo be hie mu no se ne adede no se ne adade no ni tuo no ene ma mi sa me dade na me de ko top one mu o dade na o de ton ena me de ko sie o top one mu nti o mo di be tanden o mo di be 3 hours kra wa no mu 3 hours o mo share ne o mo di be 3 hours as no mo free a.
For many, it is time for the police to nip the menace of gang clashes in the bud to forestall a future recurrence.
The law, sometimes the law no dey work. Sometimes they do say the law in the work. Because ask me why.
Why, sir?
The way I say you should ask me why. Because something is going on inside the area. You see human being, fellow human being, where it's not a police or soldier. He say he is using gun. For what? Because this thing where is happy, we really understand for that thing. Because we the area here, we know say our president is in Nima police station. Where if something happen inside the youth, we suppose that boys where they do all that thing, they supposed to catch him. We see say human being feel kill somebody, they run go.
the son come back, they say they leave him. Why?
More than 24 hours after the incident, it's many police boots on ground. The goal, to hunt down and prosecute the remaining gang members to prevent another clash. Manuel Cranting, Joy News, Accra.
Well, security analyst Adib Sani believes an enhanced intelligence gathering operation could have averted the incident.
On the ground, but it seems everybody is caught by surprise. I mean, nobody seems to know what is going on.
And I was just going to ask that, could we have seen this coming?
Absolutely, because usually before something like this happens, it might have simmered for some time now. Unfortunately, the security services might have their attention tilted elsewhere. But if there was proper intelligence on the ground, we could have, as a matter of fact, seen it coming before it blew up in our face. But currently, it looks like people don't really want to talk. And it's very inconsistent with what I know about Zongos. I mean, you touch one person in Zongo, you touch all of Zongo. There's that unity, that fraternity within the Zongo community, and it's quite surprising that we have, gangs fighting, I don't know over what, within the Zongo area. So I'm quite surprised and taken aback.
But you've seen the security deployment here. You don't think that is coming in a bit too late, as you're saying, if there was, effective, intelligence, we might have seen this coming. But now we're seeing the deployment on the ground. This also works well, no?
Well, it's just an interim initial measure, but of course this doesn't solve anything. And I'm particularly excited that the police has shown interest in what is happening. Yesterday I followed the news conference, and the assurances by the police, I feel, is quite satisfying. The boots on the ground we're seeing is also sending a clear message to the people within the area that, hey, we are still in charge and we're not going to allow this to happen. But I'm hoping that going forward, we make a conscious attempt to get all of those involved and make sure they are held into account, okay, or accountable, I should put it. So we are able to nip in the bud that cycle of impunity that is making people feel that once you are in the Zongo, you are beyond reproach and nobody can hold you to account. Secondly, we have to collaborate progressively with the various stakeholders on the ground, particularly through the Chief Imam's office. And of course, personalities such as Papa Angola, who garner a lot of respect and recognition within the Zongo community, so that the next time, if there's anything like that going to happen, we would have people willingly giving out information so we are able to prevent it. And on the other hand, if in case it happens, they would make sure the police gets those responsible.
So as you heard Adib Sani say, that area is a predominantly Muslim community. Let's now bring in the spokesperson of the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Arimiya Shaibu. Good evening to you, Sheikh. Now, how did we watch these gangs grow into what they have become?
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. I saw it and watched it on the video with dismay, with disappointment, with sadness, with shock. The reason for which this morning I had to rise to give briefing to the eminent National Chief Imam about exactly what had taken place. I was shocked when I saw one person had been slashed with a cutlass, and his legs gave way under him and he fell down. I saw him being pulled. It was something shocking, something disappointing. Like Adib Sani has said, for me, the contradiction is that Nima and Mamobi, Newtown and other places are predominantly Muslim, and one would expect that the spirit of Islamic discipline and decency, our morality, would influence and guide the lives of everybody there, including the young people and children. Our sense of peace and harmony, as is indicated in our greetings, could also have inspired the kind of behavior we put, and so that in matters of coexistence, tolerance, and respect for life and the sanctity of human blood is something that we must uphold. Unfortunately, for this to happen, then it really suggests a certain contradiction, and so that is our initial view. about exactly what has taken place.
Now, it's common knowledge that in these Zongo communities, there's pretty much quite a bit of lawlessness there. And if you listen to some of the people we spoke with, they indicated that there are some people who feel they are untouchable. They can do whatever they want to do in their community and get away with it. So this is something that has been festering for a while, that has been allowed to fester, really.
Yeah, I think there is something like some group solidarity and community solidarity which is supposed to be positive, but is being made to degenerate in something negative. That is when we live in a community and we see a bad element rising up or engaging in some shady deals, something doubtful about himself. We know somebody is gathering arms, in a possession is in some deadly weapons, which he uses to create insecurity among the people. But in the name of group solidarity and communitarianism, we keep these things silent. We don't give them out. And I think that is what has allowed this to fester. Like this gangsterism is something that people know that is happening. And this is not the first time it has taken place. You find it's a turf war. I mean, one group wants to say it is in charge of a particular area. So when they see one other element coming in, they rise up. Or if somebody is assaulted, then the whole group will have to now make some reprisals. And I think that it is known by the security, the police. They know, chiefs within the community know this, imams know this, and so on. But it is unfortunate that we have not been able to really draw a plan or a roadmap towards the final eradication of these elements in our society. This is like a cancer. So dealing with it will require both short, medium, and long-term approaches, because this is the result of a lot of combination of factors which we need to work at. So I represent the Chief Imam on the National Security Dialogue table, and the Chief Imam has a close relationship with the IGP, both the past IGP and the current IGP. The current Deputy Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Suraj, who is in charge of operations, and the current Regional Police Commander, Alhaji Idi, are all Muslims. And we want to really bring them together with the police imam and map out some programs that we must churn out, not to address the issue in Mamobi and Nima alone, but wherever we have Muslim youth that have the tendency to rise up in some of these gangsterism, we seek to do something about this so that we can really build up the perspective of young people whose mentality is that of non-violence, even in the matters of disagreement.
Sheikh, you talk about the lawlessness and what is being done about it, but is there really a commitment to get this done? I'm saying this, or I'm asking this because we've seen funeral cortege involving Muslim youth who are going to bury someone, and they're riding on motorbikes and cars and driving just anyhow on the streets. Yeah. That has never been stopped. Can these acts of indiscipline and lawlessness ever be contained?
I mean, definitely we should. It's like a challenge that is confronting us, and we should not give up in the fight. The society needs decency, the society needs discipline, the society needs order in order to make consistent and sustainable development. If we fail in this, then this same element will become a source of insecurity to us, and it can cause this anxiety and fear and threat to our survival. And so we should not give up, we should continue. One of the things that I have suggested is that even when we are carrying probably a dead person, if we think that because of the swiftness, can we engage and have an arrangement with the police so the police can assist us instead of using the motorbikes and the way that we see, which does not portray a sense that this is a community that is disciplined, a community in which there is order. It's something which is a worry for all of us, and we are looking for avenues by which we can get some of these youth leaders and get them to conduct themselves in a more respectable and respectful manner. Because our worry is that it casts a very bad image on our religion also. I mean, that is the truth. That's the reality.
Right.
We say we are peaceful, all right. We are a different community, but these are contradictions. So it casts a very bad image on us. And so we carry the duty, and I don't think that we have to relent. We don't have to give up.
All right. Thank you very much, Sheikh Aramiyao Shaibu, who is a spokesperson for the National Chief Imam. Now, Adam Bona is a security analyst, and he joins me on Zoom with more on this. Good evening to you. Now, you know this community and have been following this incident since it happened. Could it really have been prevented?
Well, yes, good evening, Israel. It could have been prevented, but I heard my friend and brother, Sheikh Aramiyao, speak about the lawlessness within some of these Zongo communities. You see, the reality is that when these things happen, we tend to scratch the surface and we don't go in and try to heal the wound from inside. It is common knowledge that the Zongos have become breeding grounds for violent extremism, where young people are radicalized, young people are used for political gains. If you look at the 2020 elections, go and check the people who died and go, check the names, and the names will tell you a story. The names will tell you that most of these young people who are used for some of these jobs, dirty jobs, are brought in from the Zongos. And therefore, once, the politicians, tend to go into the Zongos to use them, then it becomes a breeding ground for these people to be used. Go and check the young people who were brutalized, and check those who brutalized the brutalized people. Okay, then you will notice that even those within the national security who were called mostly to the commission, the Ayawasu Wagon Commission, the short commission sitting. Most of them were, names like Al-Hassan, Husseini, and the rest from the Zongos who were recruited to radicalize and recruited into national security to go and perpetrate the crime. And so we seem to be scratching the surface. What happened in Nima has always been happening. It happens every elections. It happens during festive seasons. It happens almost all the time. Mine is that there's the Nima division. We have the Nima police division. If they cannot do the job, what I can suggest to probably the IGP is to, move some of them away and bring in people who probably can do the job, because then if you saw what happened, it didn't just happen the day it happened. It started happening, I think, 24 hours before the D-Day, before the climax. And what were they doing? Are they saying that they didn't know somebody was beaten up in the Nima enclave, where they are? If they didn't know somebody was beaten up, then I would say that it is an intelligence failure on their part. But the truth is that we as a country have failed, because the Zongos, unfortunately, have become breeding ground for radicalized Muslim young or youth who have been used to foment trouble during elections, during, Langardism. Go and check. And you don't need a researcher to tell you what I'm saying is true. Israel.
Now, considering the fact that all this happened in the backyard of the presidency, where the incident happened is not too far from the presidency, the official residence and the private residence of the presidency. You mentioned intelligence failure. What does that say of the whole intelligence apparatus, if even for the backyard of the president, we have these things happening?
Well, it tells you, just like I said, I don't want us to lump it together. Once we do that, it defeats the purpose of analysis. I would want a situation where we zoom into the Nima police division and ask the divisional commander, what happened? How did they fail to pick intel? Then probably escalate it to, what's the name, the national security, where we have elements there who probably have no business working in there, who find a route into the national security, not knowing what they are doing. And so as far as I'm concerned, it is a big time intelligence failure, because you have the president, who is a next door neighbor to that particular station, the divisional command at the Nima area. And yet things are happening just next door, and the division didn't know that this was going on. And so as far as I'm concerned, for how long this has been going on, we don't know. And it is because we are fortunate because somebody, a good Samaritan, filmed what was going on and shared it on social media. If not, this would have gone on without us knowing, because as we speak, it hit social media, and quickly the IGP and his people, they've done well. They had to arrest some people. But I'm told it involves about 45 young people. And if there are 45 young people, I'm expecting that the gang leaders should be arrested. But the truth, the root cause of this has to do with radicalizing these young people. They don't have jobs. And so let's look at trying to fix youth unemployment and, reforming these communities and ensuring that the youth in there are not, it doesn't become a breeding ground for, violence and all that, as we have seen all over the country.
All right. Thank you very much, Adam Bona. Adam Bona is a security analyst, and he joined us to share his insights with us on the developments in the Nima area.